So, but we gotta keep this semi-professional. Alright, yes, so we're gonna talk job stories.
Yes.
Just some really horrible ones, or good ones. I guess we don't have a criteria, just job stories.
I've got bad ones.
Okay, you got bad ones.
Because who doesn't love a bit of suffering?
I mean, sure. Let's go with that. I mean, we don't want happiness and sunshine around here.
So, actually, before I start my first one, I do have a question, because the first one was Good Evening Officer. Do you want to take a guess as to what that was? I'm curious what you think, just from the title.
It says officer is usually what you call a police officer, isn't it? This is short for police officer. So,
yes.
You've clearly been good to one. That's what I want to assume. You haven't done anything weird.
Well,
stealing paper clips.
That's where our story begins. That's where our story begins.
Okay, but
when I work.
Okay, but we start with the Good Evening Officer then. Title you gave me. So go for it.
Yeah. So this was a story from when I worked with Hermes, which, if you don't know, is a delivery company. And I'm sure anyone who's worked with Hermes listening to this knows exactly where I'm going. They are not fun to work for. And I started just as the Christmas rush was picking up. About 3, maybe 4 weeks in, when I was still very new to the job and didn't want to make people angry, they gave me 160 parcels. And I only have a little Chevrolet Spark at the time. And fitting 160 in there wasn't exactly easy. I could not see it all out of my back window. Just that there was no way. I had packed it in like some kind of Tetris mastermind. I'd even filled up the footwell of the passenger seat with like other parcels for like the first stretch of my deliveries. I had 2 oversized parcels left. And the person in charge of the warehouse, well, I say warehouse, was basically a storage, like garage thing. I don't know if you know what I'd talk about. It's a very small warehouse, let's just call it that. And I had 2 parcels that I was bringing back, and I'm like, I don't have room for this. And he's saying like, no, you need to take these. They need to be delivered today. I'm like, and he started yelling and everything. I'm like, okay. Being like, I caved. I shouldn't have, but I did. And I took these 2 oversized parcels. One was like, I think it was a 24 pack of toilet roll, because this is like just after we had like the first peak. After that like cooled off, I thought like, okay, I'll need to get a job. So I ended up going to Hermes, and then it picked back up. I don't know what the other parcel was, but it was about the same size. It was just a big cardboard box. So I caved and took these, and I couldn't see to my left now. And that's not legal.
Oh.
I could technically see forward and out the left mirror, but I had to like lean forward around the boxes. I think I actually had them buckled in to keep them as far back as I could to be able to see. And I drove very carefully. Like, for record, motorways over here, you can go like anywhere from 50 to 70 miles an hour. I was going at 50 because you legally have to, but I wasn't going any quicker.
In ye old Britain land.
Yes, ye old Britain land. So I was just going slow. I didn't care about getting there quick. I just cared about being safe. And I'm like constantly leaning over to check. I'm staying to the left as well, because we drive on the left here. I know it's different other places. So I didn't have to look out the left mirror as much. And I'm just checking with the right mirror as much as I can to get as much visual awareness. I got basically to the bottom of the hill where my deliveries start. And there's traffic lights with a junction and everything, like a 4-way junction. I'm pulling off to the left. As I pull up, I look to my right and I notice a police officer. And, well, I just crossed my fingers and said, oh, please don't look. The lights turned green and I pulled off to the left. I'm like looking back in the mirror. I see the blue lights flashing. Like, yeah, I'm not even gonna bother. And I immediately like pull over into like the parking lot of this pub. And obviously he comes over. Basically how it went was he was like, you do realise what you've done. Like, and I said, yeah, I'm fully aware. I am driving unsafely. I cannot see to my left. And I explained my situation about how I'd been with Hermes and about how, they'd pushed these extra parcels onto us. And he was saying, like, I can understand that, but you have to realise this is your vehicle. Even if it wasn't your vehicle, you're the one driving it. You are responsible for all of this. Like, okay, yeah, that's fair. And so he took photos of like this packed back end. Like, as I say, like parcels were pressed up against the windows.
You couldn't even see you when you took a picture. It was just parcels.
Yeah,
you were like hiding behind somewhere in the
not
picture.
Quite,
like,
not quite. Like, obviously, passenger seat. I've kept that clear because, you have to for safety reasons. If a parcel got underneath like the brake pedal, I'm in trouble.
Was there so much you had like under your lap or something?
The passenger seat, I'd say the footwell was just filled up with things. Those two parcels were on the seat next to me because that was the only place I could fit them. But literally, things were pressed up against the chair behind me, behind the passenger chair. They are hitting the roof. It literally every inch of the boot and back of the car has been taken up. So yeah, he did all of his things. He took the photos and it's like, okay, do you have, your stuff to say that you're, because over here, you've got to have insurance stuff. Like if you're using your car for a business, you have to have that on your insurance. But Hermes had a system where it's like, okay, well, if you give us £1 for like every shift you do, we'll offer you this like insurance deal, which ends up being a lot cheaper. So that's what I was using. They hadn't emailed me any of the stuff for it though, so I'm like, okay, I just need to call someone to send me like an email to show you, this is all legal and everything. Like, yeah, that's fine. So he goes back to his car and he's obviously like writing up a report. I'm trying to call my superior, who very commonly changed. I think at the time this was maybe my fourth superior. Actually, no. I was only there for like 3 or 4 weeks at this point. So no, this has been like my second superior, maybe his third.
In 4 weeks.
Honestly, yes, it rotated a lot. I don't know if that was because people kept getting moved around or if like people were quick. Like the first person I had, the day I met her and she like set me up with my first shift, she then immediately went on holiday and I couldn't get in contact with her. It's like, okay, here's this new fella. I'm like, okay. When I called them and said, like, I've been pulled over by the police, could you send me the information to say that I am legally allowed to be using my car for a business? The response I got was essentially, I'm in a meeting, I don't care whatever you're going through, don't bother me. And they ended the call, and I couldn't call them back. I kept trying, and needless to say, I got a bit distressed, because it's like, oh god, am I actually going to be like arrested at this point? And won't lie, broke down a little bit. I got very watery eyes. The policeman was very understanding. I explained to him the situation, and he was like, okay, I understand, like you can't get in contact with them right now. I'm going to write out this document and everything. Basically, this document said like I had to bring the evidence, in this case, the stuff to say that I was allowed to use my car for business purposes. Had to bring that to the nearest police station within, I can't remember if it was 10 days or 2 weeks, to bring the necessary evidence to the nearest police station, which I did do. I got the stuff the next day. I ended up just huffing the 2 parcels up the hill because they were literally for the first stop of my delivery, thankfully. And I just got rid of them, and then he was like, "Yep, you are perfectly legal to drive that now, like no issues." you still got to bring the stuff to the station. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so next day I got the documents, and I believe the same night I went to the police station. I accidentally went into the staff car park, which stressed me out even more.
Okay.
It's like it was a very... It's like I came into the station, and it's like there's a couple of car park spaces to my left, like maybe it's 10, and then there was like another 5 around the corner. I don't know where to go. And I saw there was a guy in front of me who'd pulled in just before us. I thought, like, okay, well, I'll follow them and see where they park. It didn't occur to me that they might be a police officer as I followed them through this gate. So I went down like, wow, this is a really big car park. And then I realised, like, that's a van. That's a police van. And those are like interceptor vehicles, and I think those are unmarked vehicles. Oh dear. I'm in the police car park. So I went over and said, like, I'm sorry, I didn't realise this was a police car park. Like, am I okay to... am I in trouble? Like, no, it's fine. This happens far too often, don't worry. Just drive up to the gate, there's a sensor, it'll let you out, and just park up there and then do whatever you need to. Like, thank you. Oh, one of them
started sweating even more at that point.
I'm sweating bullets at that point. Yeah, I'm just like, for God's sake, one thing after another. So yes, I park up. I go into the office and I like show them the documentation. Like, okay, yeah, like, is this everything? Yeah, that's everything. I was just asked to bring in this stuff. Like, here's a documentation to say like this was. They gave me a document to say that this is the document I need. Basically, so I gave them that and show like, okay, this was all I was asked to bring in. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Please. The woman at the desk was like, yeah, that's fine, okay. So they took it away and like, this should be processed in 3 to 5 days. We'll give you, the good word back that of everything like being fine. Like, hooray, thank you, it's over. 3 to 5 days later, I get the notification of, hey, you need to pay £100 fine, and we're putting, was it 3 points or 6 points on my license? We'll go the optimistic route and say it was 3 points on my license. Which, fun. Again, for clarification, if you have 12 points on your license here in the UK, your driving license gets revoked. So that was really annoying. That was the only time I've ever got points on my license. Needless to say, I started looking for a new job.
Only after 1 month.
Yeah, I wanted to leave after a single month. Unfortunately, I couldn't leave after a month because I couldn't get anything. There was literally like no jobs available. It's not the quickest job I've ever had. That was a call centre where I was literally there for a month before leaving. That's a different story altogether.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, I've been in a similar situation once. I filled my car with stuff I needed to deliver, and just, I mean, you could barely see through. I could barely see the road, and I just got lucky that no one saw me. But the more deliveries you make, the less stuff you have in the car. So it got better with time. But again, don't do that. But. If any of my stories intrigue you, which one would it be?
I have to say the rats caught my eye.
It's not even the whole title. It's The Rats Aren't Real.
Yeah, the rats aren't real. But that title immediately made me think of like the Skaven from 40k. I know it's not going to be about that. And I assume it's more someone was stealing food and blaming it on rats or something.
I mean, slightly more disgusting, but
no.
it's rats involved. So what can you do? But to start it off, used to do transport work. Just drive stuff to stores and fill stuff up.
Okay, so what I've done just on an industrial level more.
Yeah, like with Hermes, but we drove to stores. We had products and we delivered it to stores, and I also went to the stores and put them up on the shelves in the store. So it was a lot of moving around and driving around. Anyway, So what happened once was I've been driving around a while around Stockholm and doing my job, and at some point I noticed like what is the smell? It's like what is something weird when I exit the car. It's like what is this smell? It's super weird. It took a while, maybe a couple of days, and I was like, hang on, it's coming from the engine. What is?
Oh no.
So I just checked the engine. It's like covered in like rat poop and like hair and stuff. It's like, but I see. That's a problem. So then doing a little detective work, I figured out that where I parked the car after I'm done with the day, it was like behind a building. I mean, there was the only space we could like afford, I suppose. I don't know why it had to be there specifically, but I was told to place it there, and it was next to a garbage container when they put waste food. So probably what happened was that there were rats living in the car when I wasn't using it.
Oh no.
So like in the engine and stuff, and so at that point I got a little worried. I mean, actually, what sealed the deal when I noticed it, what there was a literal dead rat by my door when I came when I was gonna drive. And it had probably like decayed a bit. It was after a weekend, so like I should probably throw this in the waste disposal. And when I tried to like pick it up, I noticed that the tail, just like peeling off when I was trying to take it. It's like the body had decayed a bit. It was very disgusting. Anyway, so at that point I was like, okay, I probably need to fix this, like get another parking spot and also fix the car because like it smelled a lot and I didn't want the cars to get into the actual, inside the car and from the engine or whatever.
You've also got to be careful because rat droppings break down to the point where they can actually be inhaled.
Yeah, I mean, I was told it wasn't healthy, and
not healthy.
No one cared but me, so they was like, well, "But it's just rats. I mean, they're not there." I was like, "But I can smell them. Don't worry. I know they're there." So I talked around a bit and found a company not far away that actually like cleaned the engine and stuff. You apparently can't use water to clean the car, since you don't want to damage the engine and stuff like that. So I'm gonna pay for it, and I told my boss, like, okay, I'm gonna go do this day, and I'll take the receipt. Then you can pay me back later, so I can get the money back.
Yeah.
But this is for the company because I can't work in this car. Like, it's disgusting. And they're like, okay, fine, whatever. So I drove over, asked them if they could fix it, and it went by pretty quickly. They had a look at the car and they were cleaning it. So I was just waiting for them to be done. It was like no problem. However, when I was sitting and waiting for them to be done, one of the guys just came back out to me, and he was like walking at a fast pace and just went up to me. He's like, dude, there's still rats in the car.
Oh god, no!
They ran out when we were started cleaning. We got rats in the warehouse now. I was like, okay, sorry. So he just said that and then went back. It's like, okay, what am I gonna do about that? But then I realized, like, how much have I driven and there has been rats in the car? I mean, have I been delivering pestilence to several stores in Stockholm? Who knows? For a company that delivers food products to stores, I mean, I'm glad no one noticed it. So, so when I told this back in the offices, they were like, "What rats? Like, we don't know about the rats." And they never did anything about it. So, and they never moved the car. So it was all in for nothing. Yeah, that was that story. It's disgusting.
Oh god, that sounds awful. It just like I don't have a massive fear of rats themselves, but I know they can carry all sorts, so that just sounds utterly like disgusting to me. Like, like skin crawl. No.
I mean, they are surprisingly big. I didn't. If someone said if they mistook one of them for a cat, I would not be surprised.
I mean,
it is that size.
I mean, I've been to London, and there was a very comical moment where my mom was like sat down on like there's a little stone wall around a lot of people's places in London to block off their front garden. My mom was sat down on one of those whilst her and my dad were trying to figure out where our hotel was, because we were staying in London for a bit. In like comical fashion, a rat goes underneath my mom, like underneath her legs. She doesn't notice because she's looking at the map, and I'm like, Mom, there's like, not now. We're trying to figure out where the hotel is, but I'd like to hush. Okay. So they can.
So I would like to point out.
Yeah, they continue on for a moment, and then like after that moment, the rat starts wandering off, and my little brother, who's like 3 or 4 at the time, goes, "Look, a cat!" And the two of them turn, and I think my dad's expression was something along the lines of, "Jesus Christ, that is the biggest rat I've ever seen." And I just said, "I did try to tell you." It's like, "Tell us what?" Like, it was underneath your legs. And that freaked my mom out a lot. Like, that's why I was trying to tell you. You didn't listen. So...
Why didn't you tell me?
But yeah, I'm not actually afraid of rats. It's like, I'll see them down the fields when I go for a walk, and I don't mind them. They don't just stay out of my way. But yeah, I'm kind of worried about the things they can carry, especially in cities.
You have an understanding with them. Gentlemen's agreements. But man, we should wrap things up.
Yes, we are. We're probably over the 90-minute mark. Yes, not by only by 10 minutes, but we are over the mark
by a big margin.
Only by a big margin. My thing says we're only like 1 hour 40 minutes in. I don't know if you started yours a bit earlier.
Oh no.
Yeah, I can hear someone knocking. Do you want to get that?
That's a neighbor.
Oh no.
Keep going.
Oh no, he's hammering. Okay.
Oh god.
This is like the perfect timing, isn't it?
I didn't know.
Hey, I'm not blaming you. You're not responsible for someone drilling. Fingers crossed that was the only one. No.